guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to be talking about Gangs of Lagos, which is the recent Nollywood Prime Video movie that just premiered on the 7th of April, which was only a few days ago. So this is still very fresh, but I just want to say that this review is going to be filled with a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't seen Gangs of Lagos, or if you're just not a fan of spoilers, then please just exit this video and you can come back after you've seen the movie. Except you don't mind spoilers, then you can just stay and watch until the end. But anyways guys, we are going to be talking about Gangs of Lagos. I'm actually excited to be talking about this movie because we've been hearing a lot of buzz about it, you know, the past year, and it's, you know, the pictures and videos they've been sharing from behind the scenes, it just looked very exciting, and I was like, okay, I'm actually looking forward to seeing this and talking about it with you guys. So I'm, you know, really excited about this. Anyways, let's get into this review. This movie is directed by Jade. If you're familiar with her work, which I'm sure a lot of you are, she's the one that did Isoken. She produced Brotherhood, which only just came out not so long ago. She has also done a few other movies here and there, and she's really a fantastic director and producer and filmmaker in general. And I was really excited to see that she was the one directing this film, because I think she's someone that really pays attention to details. So I was really excited about this. Gangs of Lagos stars Tobi Bakre, Adesua Etomi Wellington, Chike, the musician, if you're familiar with him. It also stars Toyin Abraham, Chioma Akpotha, and also Tayo from Big Brother from years ago. I'm sure a lot of you know him. As well as Pasuma and Zlatan, Iyabo Ojo, Bimbo Ademoye, and Olarotimi Fakunle. So guys, first of all, I'm going to be talking about the synopsis. So Gangs of Lagos, it follows this group of friends. Ify is played by Chike, Oba is played by Tobi, and Gift is played by Adesua. So it follows these three friends. They've been friends since they were little kids, and it just follows their life in Isaleko in Lagos, and how they navigate the whole violence, crime, and basically just trying to figure out their way out of it. First thing I'm going to talk about is the casting. I think they did an amazing job with the casting. From seeing Tobi in Brotherhood, I was not surprised that he could bring his A game to this character, but at the same time I couldn't help but compare this movie to Brotherhood, because Brotherhood, I only just saw Brotherhood like probably a couple of months ago, and a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't been so long since it came out on Prime Video, so I only just saw it, so it's still very fresh in my mind, and I'm comparing Gangs of Lagos to Brotherhood, and comparing his character in this movie to his character in Brotherhood. And to be honest, they are very different. They are very different, but at the same time, it's like still in the whole crime, action, violence, and all of that. So it's just very difficult not to compare, to be honest. But this character Tobi plays, which is Oba, he's more grounded, he doesn't talk too much, to be honest. He's not really playful or happy. He's not really a happy person. And he's just trying to get out of this life of crime, and he wants to better himself. He wants to go to San Francisco. That's his dream, to leave Isaleko and move to San Francisco, where he believes he's going to have a better life. And as for Ify played by Chike, Ify wants to be a musician. That's what he's always wanted to be ever since he was a child. He's expressed that he wants to be a musician, and he thinks he's even going to be bigger than Two-Face, and that's his dream. And for Ify, doing all of these things he's doing in Isaleko is going to bring him out of that life of crime and eventually get him to where he wants to be as a musician. And as for Gift, played by Adesua, we really don't know much about Gift, honestly, which I'm going to talk more about when I talk about what I don't like about the movie, or what I did not appreciate about it. So I'm just going to leave that there. We really don't know much about Gift, to be honest. she's just one of the friends and she's down for the crime. So we're going to talk about Kazim. Kazim is played by Olarotimi Fakunle, and to be honest, I never knew this man before. I never knew him as an actor. I've never seen him before. But after doing my research, I realized that apparently he's like a well-known stage actor, and which is not surprising from the way he played, because stage actors are, to like in my own understanding, they just have a way of bringing out more emotions when they're acting in films. So it was no surprise when I found out that he's a proper stage actor. I was like, oh, okay, now this makes so much sense why he's so good in this role. And this character of Kazim, I think it was really, really well played. This is one of my favorite characters from this film, and the actor did an amazing job at bringing this character to life. Honestly, guys, this was one of my best casting choices. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah, let me just go back to Adesua playing Gift. To be honest, I feel like I love Adesua. I think she seems like an amazing person, but for certain characters, certain roles, I just cannot see her playing it. I think this is one situation where I feel like the director was able to bring out a certain aspect of her that we've not seen before, but at the same time, it just felt like the scenes where she was speaking pidgin, and you know, it just made me cringe a bit, because I just cannot picture her in that. Like it's just a bit funny. I don't know how to explain. I don't know if you guys watching understand what I mean, but I wish the roles were reversed. Like Bimbo Ademoye, she played the character of Gift, and Adesua played Bimbo's character. Like it just did not really but there were certain scenes that she really did very, very well, which I'll get to much later in the video. Nino, played by Tayo, that character, he wasn't there for a long time, but the little time that he was there, he was able to bring a certain presence to the film that I really, really appreciated. He did a fantastic job, and I want to see him in more movies. Another character that really cracked me up was the character of Terrible. I don't know, when I watched the movie, I was like, wait, this guy's face looks very familiar, but I wasn't sure where I'd seen him until people posted like the skits videos of him from I think a couple of years back, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is that guy. He's so hilarious and he just looks really natural. Yeah, I don't think I spoke about Chike playing Ify too well. I really liked him as in this character. I think it was natural, and I really did not have any problems with that at all, because I felt like he did very well as the character. The character is not violent. He's not really an angry person. He's more calm, and you know, which I think he did well portraying. The child actors, they did amazing, especially the Oba's younger self. He did a wonderful job. I really want to see that boy in more movies. He is a very good actor, and I'm sure he's really, really young. I don't know how old he is, but he seems, you know, maybe like 10, 11, 12, I'm not sure, but either ways, he did an amazing job, and I want to see him in more movies, because him being that good this young, I'm pretty sure that as time goes on, he's only going to get better with more coaching and, you know, just doing it more. He's only going to get better. He's only up from there, to be honest. You know, we got Pasuma in a few scenes, which was really nice. I love seeing him. And one thing I would say is I love how this is going into the cinematography and the visuals, the makeup. It was amazing, and I do not expect anything less from a Jade Osiberu film, because from her previous work you can see that she's very particular about how it looks. Everything just looks really nice and just well shot. The lighting, the long shot views from above, like it just looks really nice. I was like, oh my god, this looks really beautiful, and I like that we're seeing another side of Lagos, because when you see a lot of other Nollywood films. It's like we're only seeing Ikoyi Bridge, we're seeing Banana Island, we're seeing all of this. So I like when big movies take us to the other side of Lagos, and it was just really good to see. I love the fight scenes. I think it was very well choreographed. Sometimes I felt like the scenes were too long, but I get where they were going with that, so I don't hate it. I'm not hating on it. The makeup, the blood looked real. It didn't look fake. Thankfully, it looked really good, and I really appreciate that they took their time to make sure that this looked really good visually. And I noticed how they made Kazim and Pasuma look younger in the beginning, and then when the movie progressed and it was now in the present, they looked older, and like I was just like, oh wow. I like that they paid attention to detail to make sure, because sometimes most of these movies, Nollywood movies, they don't do that, and I like that they paid attention to that. They dyed his beard just to make us realize that okay, he's older. This is like years later, and things have changed. Things are not the same. So I'm going to talk about my favorite scenes. My favorite scenes were mostly the scenes with Chioma Akpotha. The scene in the funeral scene where she was crying and screaming and just, you know, in Igbo, in English, or switching from Igbo to English. I was like, oh my god, this woman is here for a reason. Like, she is who she is for a reason. We know her for a reason. She has been in the game for this long, and we still appreciate her for a reason. She's an amazing actress, and to be honest guys, I've seen her in millions of movies, just like I'm sure most of you guys, but this particular scene, this particular movie, it just stood out for me. And considering the fact that she wasn't even in a lot of scenes, I think she was probably in like maybe 4 or 5 scenes, and they were not even for so long. But that particular scene, that funeral scene in the church, oh my god, that's one scene I would never forget. Like, I would never ever forget. It was so touching, and I'm not even going to pretend that I did not cry, because you know, I'm not a hard babe like that. It was really touching. It was really touching and unforgettable scene. I want her to get all the love and all the awards, everything possible for her role in this movie, because she killed it. Like, she really killed it. Another scene where I appreciate Adesua's acting was the scene where she found Ife's body and she was screaming and crying. That scene really touched me. I think Adesua is very good at in like emotional scenes where she's crying and you know all of that, because the scenes that had her doing that, I just felt more emotion compared to like all the other scenes. Like, that particular scene was really touching and very emotional. There was another scene where Tenny played by Bimbo Ademoye, she was in the car with Oba, and you know, they were talking about, no, I think before the car scene, they were like sitting down somewhere and just talking about life and everything, and Tenny was talking about how she feels like it was the point of going to school. Like, her father did not go to school, and meanwhile he has all this power, so what's the point? Like, all you need in this life is power, according to her. And Oba is like, you know, like, you like, it's not really like that. Like, you get, yes, as much as, yeah, all you want is power, but it's life doesn't go that way. So that particular scene was very touching when he was talking about how she's living in Banana Island in this big house that could fit over 30 people. Meanwhile, him and the people that are doing all the dirty work, they're living in, you know, in the slum, just killing themselves for no reason. And he was just not really finding that like as a good thing, and I completely understood that, and I love that scene. You know, like the things that this movie focuses on: friendship, family, betrayal, revenge, gang culture, political godfatherism, you know, the Japa culture. You know, it's just, I like how they were able to bring everything under one umbrella and just make it make sense to an extent. I love how they just dropped little cues here and there, and the gang culture in Nigeria, the cultism and all of that, it's a really serious issue that has been going on for decades. And although they didn't really focus on that in this film, I like that they shed a bit of light on it, and how, you know, political godfatherism, all this violence and all of this it plays into politics and elections, especially considering that the Nigerian elections for you know, presidency and all of that, it just finished like just a couple of weeks ago. So I like that it's touching on that, even though it's not going into deep, but if you're watching, you're going to understand what they mean, where they're coming from, and just the entire thing. So at the end of the film, it seemed like they were shaping it up to have like a sequel, because at a point we just did not see Tenny's character anymore. We didn't see her anymore, and the last time we see her, she's crying close to the body of her father after he falls from the rooftop, murdered by Oba and Gift. And that scene where she's crying and screaming and she looks up and she sees them, it just gives me that vibe of, oh, okay, you killed my father, I'm coming for you. That's what I got from that scene. And especially considering the fact that she was all about power, talking about how power is important, it feels like she's probably more like her father than we can see at this point. So it's like, if there was a door open for a sequel, which I would not hate if it's written very well, I think it's going to make for a very good sequel of her coming for the people that murdered her father and just climbing the ladders to more power, trying to take over from where her father left things. I think that would make a good sequel, and I would not mind seeing that sequel, to be honest. I think it's going to make a lot of sense if they write it very well. Okay, so let's talk about what I did not really like about this film. I feel like there were so many good things about this film. It was really entertaining from the beginning to the end. I wanted to know what was going to happen. Like, after each scene, I was like, okay, what's next? But I feel like the character development, which I have always complained about in a lot of Nollywood films, it was just really poor, especially for certain characters like I mentioned before, like Gift. Why is Gift in the streets? Why is she so into this gang life, this violent life? What is her motivation for doing that? At least to a great extent, we understand that Tobi's father was in this life. Not Chike, Ife's father was in this life. So we understand that there's a bit of a reason why they're still following in their parents' footsteps. But for Gift, why is she doing that? Like, what's the reason for that? What is her motivation? What does she want to do with her life aside from being in the streets and shooting people? We know that Oba wants to leave Nigeria. He wants to leave this life and move to San Francisco. He, wants to read more books. He wants to go to school. We know that if he wants to be a big musician, what does Gift want to do? We don't know much about Gift. There's just a bit of a gap there that I wish they were just able to just give us a little bit, even because if they decide that they want to take their time to give us more, it's probably going to end up being more of a mini series instead of a movie, because there's not going to be enough time to focus on all these things. Honestly, I wouldn't have hated on it if it was a mini series, because I feel like they would have had more time to go into these stories and just give us a bit more, like the way they did with Shantytown. I would have loved this if it was a mini series as well, but they decided to go with a movie. I'm not hating on it as well, but for Gift, there's just nothing for us to really get why she's doing all of this. Even with Oba's character, and Ife's character, I just wish they gave us a bit more, but I think they did a good job still with what they had. So yeah, I think that was the only thing that I really did not like. And there was one scene, guys, it was like for a second, where we can see the camera guy in the shot, and this is where Kazim falls from the rooftop on the car, where he dies, and we can see the camera guy for like 1 second. It gave me Game of Thrones, where they left the coffee cup somewhere and they did not edit that from the shots. That's what it gave me, because I understand that these things could happen in movies and everything. It's just one of those things that they just probably missed. Yeah, I'm shocked that they missed that, to be honest, but you know, it is what it is. Overall, I genuinely enjoyed this film. I'm not even going to, you know, lie to you guys. I really did enjoy this film, and again, comparing it to Brotherhood, I did prefer this to Brotherhood. I feel like the casting was just right with this one, and I had more of a problem with the casting in Brotherhood, but this one, it just felt right to me. So yeah, you guys, if you've not seen Gangs of Lagos, you should definitely see it. I recommend this 100%. It's not going to be a waste of your time, I promise you. And if you feel like it is, then you can feel free to come for me in my DMs. But I really loved this film. I think Nollywood is going in a good direction, especially when it comes to like action movies and movies of this nature, crime and all of that. And I'm really excited to see more from this particular filmmaker. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her work, either in the cinema or on Amazon Prime, whatever the case may be, because she currently has I think a 3-year deal with, or a 2-year deal, I'm not sure. I think it's a 3-year deal with Amazon Prime, and I'm sure they're working on a lot of things, which I am really looking forward to seeing. I'm not going to hate on it if we're seeing another like rom-com just like Isoken. I would really love to see it, because Isoken is one of my favorite Nollywood films. I love rom-coms, so I'm looking forward to that. More action, more crime. I'm definitely going to be there, front seats, seeing the film. So you guys, let me know what you think about Gangs of Lagos. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think for the most part they did a wonderful job. If like just a few things here and there that you know, no movie is without its flaws. So for the most part, I think they did a wonderful job. I enjoyed this. Recommended 100%. So yeah, so this is where we're going to be ending this video, guys. Don't forget to like, leave a comment and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Diary of a Movie Lover. I'm going to put that in this video so you can follow me, and don't forget to leave your comment, share this video if you can, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.